Okay, now are you what's termed a second screener? Do you know what a second screener is?
Watching TV with an iPad or a phone in your hand and doing something at the same time?
Spot on. You are a second screener.
I am a little
bit.
bit.
Apparently this is on the decline. It was thought that more people are doing this, but now researchers suggest that this may not be the case. Oliver Smith is an expert in all of this. He is a reporter with The Memo. The Memo is an online technology mag. I know that because I was able to sort of do that while I was reading that and find out all about it. What do you think about two screens viewing? I mean, we probably have a lot of problems this. My 14-year-old, he sits down, Dad, can we watch this movie? And then he never looks at it, and he says he is looking at it, but he's doing something else. But what's your view?
Absolutely. I mean, since 2007, since the iPhone, since the iPad, smartphones, tablets, it's so popular now to have all these devices while we're watching TV. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. It's not just the younger generations, it's our generations as well.
Yeah.
This is so popular now. But this new research suggests something otherwise. It suggests that the youngest generations are starting to turn away from these screens. Maybe they're a bit bored with them, maybe they want to focus more on what they're watching, but that seems to be the trend on the cutting edge at the moment.
And would this concern you in any way? I mean, a lot of people would say, hallelujah, thank you for this, concentration at last.
I think maybe not concerning, but I think it's interesting to see how behaviour's changing. You know, maybe we are starting to say, whoa, we've got too many screens, too many devices, we need to put them aside, focus on the TV we're watching, the great drama, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead.
Excuse me, could I stop you right there? I'd like to go over to our Game of Thrones special correspondent here on this.
Well, it's coming back, as you probably know, in less than a week's time. And I would argue that watching something like Game of Thrones or Walking Dead is actually better if you're kind of engaging with people who are also watching it at the same time, like via Twitter or something else. It actually adds to the enjoyment in a way.
I couldn't agree more. Last year, Game of Thrones was the most tweeted about show on TV. I think it was 16 million tweets were sent all about Game of Thrones last year. And it's coming back this week, and I'm sure we'll see even more tweets sent about it.
And if you're watching something like the Eurovision Song Contest, it's positively brilliant if you are double screening, because it's so funny to hear what people say.
And sport can be, you say that's brilliant, sport can be quite brutal. As well. You've got to be careful on that. Sport's another area where this happens, and but what you're saying is there's not now a new generation coming in to do this.
Well, that's what the research seems to indicate. Another report from Accenture said that 87% of people still use a second screen, but maybe what we're seeing is a gradual decline, a slowdown on that top end, whereas before it is growing so rapidly.
There are different types of double screening though, aren't there? There are types of double screening where you're watching something, say, on the TV, and you're on your other screen talking about what you're watching on TV. So you're sort of like engaging with it doubly. But then, you know, my kids will be watching something completely different with completely different noise and sort of watching something on TV. That sort of double screening I don't agree with, but it happens.
If you watch The Walking Dead, there's an app you can run to go along with the programme. You can vote on the characters, who might survive, who might not make it this episode.
Pretty much everyone won't.
Whereas there's the other second screening, which is watching something completely different. You're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're not really paying attention. So I think it's important to make the distinction between those two types of screens.
Well, I'm watching another screen which tells me, Oliver, our time is up. Thank you very much indeed for reporting on those trends. Oliver Smith is a reporter with The Memo, an online technology magazine. We will hit the break, Jackie, after that.
Well, if you're a Leicester fan, could you bear to watch the screen?